Thanks for tuning in. On this episode, we'll be speaking with Matt Kopin and find out what's coming next for VIA. I'm Jeremy Ladner, and this is Kramer Today. Hey, Matt, thank you so much for coming back on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Absolutely. So let's start off with a quick overview for people who might not be familiar with VIA and what it's all about.
Yeah, so, VIA is Kramer's wireless presentation and collaboration solutions. It's really a family of products that came out of the need for the ability to walk into any meeting space with whatever device it is you like to use and be able to quickly and easily get that content up to the main screen. So we've kind of delivered a family of solutions here that allow, integrators and end users to kind of do a needs analysis of the space that they're looking to outfit for wireless connectivity and be able to choose the product that really kind of fits those needs. But really the core functionality is wireless connectivity and wireless functionality.
Okay, great. So it's been around, as you mentioned, since I think it was 2014. How has the product family evolved in the past half decade?
Yeah, so that's a great question. If you haven't looked at VIA in a while, now's kind of a great time to really take a second look at VIA. It really has evolved. What Kramer did in 2014 was we went out and we sourced dedicated hardware for these appliances, and then we asked our software engineers to create a purpose-built software that runs on top of the products. And the software is really what allows the product to be flexible and malleable and change with the trends of technology. The product actually from 2014 to now doesn't even really look the same as far as software is concerned as it did in 2014. We've made a number of improvements to the product, not only from a software level, but also by introducing new models. In addition to the VIA Collage, which we had at one point, and the VIA Connect Pro, we've introduced a VIA Go, which is our low-cost alternative for smaller huddle spaces, a VIA Campus product, and even a VIA Connect Plus product, which is a mid-range product that offers a hybrid approach to both wireless and wired connectivity, allowing people to use that legacy connectivity, HDMI, and bring in wireless at the same time.
So obviously, hardware has changed, hardware has evolved, and we've touched a little bit on the idea that, Kramer's sort of viewing VIA as a platform at this point, and benefits of having a platform not just for the software end of things, where every time there's new software that's introduced, there's new functionality that's added, but the firmware updates that come with that allow VIA to, really maintain its value over a long period of time. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, exactly right. Firmware updates are a thing that we see kind of as a necessity or really, really a way for us to improve the product. And firmware updates for the VIA products have always been free. There's never been any charge for firmware updates, but the updates really allow us to keep the product current. It's allowed us to not only improve the user experience, but also add features and functions to the product based on user feedback. And when I talk about user experience, we've really kind of improved the software lately to, not only allow users to get connected in new ways, but to do it without even having to download anything. One of the biggest improvements that we've made recently is really through our ability to allow users to connect without downloading or installing anything on their device. We call it clientless connectivity. And really what we're doing is we're allowing VIA to take advantage of the native protocols that are built into your laptop or your iPad or whatever else. So you take AirPlay, for example. AirPlay is a protocol that's built into your iPads, your iOS devices, your Apple devices. So without having to download anything, you can find a VIA through AirPlay and you can present a VIA that way. Or if you have Windows or an Android device, you can use Miracast, as a platform to get your content up to the screen. And the biggest improvement, I think, to the connectivity and the user experience that we've done in the last year is the ability to join directly through a web browser. So if you have a Chromebook, a Windows laptop, an Apple laptop, even a Linux laptop, we don't care what kind of a laptop it is, as long as it runs either a Chrome browser or Mozilla Firefox. You can join directly through the browser without installing anything on your device, no software applications or anything. So we've really removed a lot of the barriers that created headaches or hurdles for our users to jump over to get connected in the beginning. And then obviously, our VIA software application is still, probably the most popular way for a lot of our users to get connected. And we have a firmware update coming out later this month, version 3.0, which is actually going to give that a complete overhaul. So again, just through a firmware update or a software update, we've actually been able to improve the user experience and give the users a complete facelift as far as what they're seeing and using. So they still have a familiar VIA application, but it makes it look a lot more modern and a lot easier to use.
Fantastic. I've been able to sort of witness the evolution of VIA over the past few years, and it's really it started off in a great place and has evolved into something fantastic and a pleasure to use, certainly. Part of that, of course, is so many of us are now working from home. Obviously, you're at home right now. You've got your puppy on the sofa behind you, getting all cozy. A key part of that is being able to work with video conferencing tools, whether it's meetings, Teams, Skype, Zoom, BlueJeans, you name it. And one of the real benefits, the real value adds of VIA is that it's agnostic. It'll work with any of them. Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I think like any of these wireless presentation devices, we realized pretty early that our products were being installed alongside of software video conferencing or hardware video conferencing codecs or that sort of thing. And what VIA does really, really well is that in-room wireless collaboration experience. Again, that ability to walk in with whatever device it is you like to use and get that content up on the main screen and collaborate in the room. What a software like Zoom or Teams does really well is take the content from your laptop and push it out over the internet to bring in remote users. So rather than us reinvent the wheel, what we've done is we've allowed our products to completely integrate with these meeting room applications to take what we're doing in the room really well, break down those barriers, and allow that content to be shared with users outside of the room. And we've done that in a number of different ways. Even if just looking at the different models, if you take our VIA Campus, for example, it runs Windows 10. So an administrator can install, the Zoom application or Microsoft Teams or any other third-party application right on the VIA and make that an endpoint for any of your Zoom calls or, again, whatever software it is you're using. And you still have all the same functionality of VIA that can now be shared through your Zoom call. And actually, we've done the same thing with our VIA Connect Plus. Actually, we pre-install Zoom and BlueJeans on our VIA Connect Plus. And with that 3.0 update that's coming, we're actually going to be introducing Teams as well. And the last way to do it, really came out of, a software agnostic approach to this software video conferencing. And that's a feature that we call VIA Versa. And VIA Versa allows a user to walk into a room, connect to VIA the same way they always do, but take advantage of the camera that was professionally installed and the microphones that were professionally installed in the space, without having to run cables to their laptop or anything like that.
So that's a huge benefit, because obviously we're living in a time where a lot of us are using our laptops to working from home as well as video conferencing. But for those days in the not too distant future when we are heading back into a meeting space, to walk into a VIA Connect Plus enabled meeting space where we can wirelessly connect to the high quality professionally installed camera and microphone really improves the quality and the total experience of video conferencing, especially if you want to switch mid-meeting from a one-on-one meeting to suddenly want to bring in some of your team members to join you. You can literally pick up your laptop, walk into that video conferencing room, and switch over instantly and wirelessly, which is a huge value. And when we're talking about user experience, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and, it came out of the need for a software agnostic approach. Zoom rooms and Microsoft Teams rooms are great until someone sends you a meeting invite for the other platform. Then your meeting room is really no good. So we wanted to be able to offer a completely software agnostic approach. So what we wanted to create was a space where the user can drive the meeting from their own laptop using the software that they wanted to use, but still take advantage of that high quality camera and that high quality microphone that's in the space. So that's really what Versa is all about. And, there's a number of benefits that kind of come along with this. Obviously, the first one is that, there's nothing you need to plug into your laptop. There's no USB cable, there's no dongle, there's nothing that needs to be physically connected. And in a world where, you don't want to touch anything anymore, and you're encouraged to wash your hands every 20 minutes, not having to touch anything physically is a huge benefit. The second thing is, like I mentioned earlier, it's completely software agnostic. Whether you use Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or some software that we've never even heard of, as long as it allows you to select a camera and a microphone, you can use Via Versa and take advantage of the peripherals in that room. And the last benefit really is that the user gets to drive the meeting from their own laptop. There is no device that they are more comfortable with than their own laptop. They've already got the software they like to use. They're already logged in with their own credentials. They probably got the calendar invite that they can just click and join the meeting. So it reduces the amount of retraining users that needs to happen. There's virtually no training that needs to happen, within the meeting space, because all they need to do is connect to VIA the same way they always would and select the camera and the microphone that are in the space. So, Via Versa has a number of different advantages that we think really bring what we do really well, which is that in-room collaboration, and embrace that remote participant integration from Zoom and Teams and all the other meeting softwares.
Fantastic. It's something very, very impressive. I had a chance to play with a little bit, and it really changes the whole way you deal with being able to switch over from a one-on-one to a multi-person meeting. Via Versa was introduced in 2.6. Right now it's just available for the Via Connect Plus, but I believe you were mentioning that it's also going to be available on additional pieces of hardware coming soon. Is that correct?
Yes, so it will be available on the Via Campus products, in the upcoming firmware update as well. So, it will be available on the various models that we do offer.
Excellent. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that. All right, so let's move on to Via Site Management, or VSM. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Via Site Management is really our enterprise management tool. This is what enables, larger deployments of Via to happen. This is the command and control center for all things Via. So an administrator can go in there and they can manage things about, how the Vias look and how they operate, what they call themselves, those types of things, as well as get, health updates and see the status of all these different units. And, just like the rest of the Via line, this is based on software. So we're continuing to improve this and allow it to evolve based on user feedback as well. And one of the places that we're really improving it is, not only in the user interface, which is getting a facelift as well, just like the client software, but in the actual functionality. We're making the update process and the configuration process for batch updates and batch configurations much, much easier for our administrators. Enabling them to deploy more VIAs without having to take up a ton of a workload on them. And the last thing, Via Site Management also is making the transition to the cloud as well. We've had a number of large installations that are spread out throughout the world. A university comes to mind where they didn't have a single data center where they could put Via Site Management and have it talk to all their VIAs throughout all the different countries around the world. So they asked us for a cloud-based version, and we've been beta testing that for over a year now with some of our larger customers. And it basically allows for remote configuration and management of your VIA devices as long as they have a couple ports open to the internet. So there's no more restrictions of having to be on the same flat network or the same even the same internal network. So Cloud VSM is going to be something that we're going to be introducing later this year.
Excellent. All right. Before I let you go, I'm going to see if I could get some information out of you about what's coming next. I know we've got a couple Via 2 products that are already out there. What can we expect in the next days, weeks, months? What sneak preview can you give us?
Yeah, so I think I know what you're hinting at. Obviously, we did introduce the Via Campus 2 and the Campus 2 Plus a few months ago, and they were a natural progression to our, already successful Via Campus product. Not much change on the outside, but we updated the processor on the inside, and the big changes are really, dual 4K output, so you can drive two displays at 4K. From each of the displays, and a 4K 60 HDMI input on the Via Campus Plus as well. Plus, they gained wireless, so now they support Miracast, and they're getting the new software updates as well. I think what you're kind of alluding to is the upcoming VIA Go 2. And the VIA Go 2, again, kind of a natural progression to our VIA Go, but a lot of improvements based strictly on user feedback. So, first of all, the product now supports 4K, which was a huge ask from a lot of our users, where the older product only supported 1080p. So now you have 4K in the output. It's got built-in wireless and built-in Miracast, and we've introduced new processors. The big thing too is PoE. So again, reducing the amount of cables and things that need to be plugged in behind the display, all while making the product about 40% smaller. So it's about 60% of the size that it was previously. The thing fits in the palm of your hand. So it's getting even easier to stick behind a display or hide behind or on top of a projector or something like that. So again, some nice improvements coming to a product that is a really, really affordable solution for wireless BYOD in your huddle spaces.
That is very impressive. And an application that jumps to mind is suddenly in all of these schools where you have these maybe projectors that are a little bit on the older side, you can turn this projector into a wireless projector for a BYOD environment. And that is a huge, huge upgrade with a tiny investment attached to it. So that's pretty exciting for VIA Go 2.
Exactly. Yeah. We're really excited about the new hardware and the new software that's coming in the future.
Excellent. All right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
All right. Until next time. Thanks to all of you for watching. We certainly appreciate it. If you like the show, please let us know. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified of all of our latest episodes. Until next time, I'm Jeremy Ladner, and this is Kramer Today.